Hello, my friends. It's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, I am joined by my friend
Craig Dixon.
And this is it, the top 10 games of all time. It's, one of the 3 possible times a year I might be able to get away with wearing this disco baller suit.
I thought I had John Travolta over here. It's like Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, no, the suit's called Disco Baller. I did not name it that. I bought it for a special occasion, my 40th birthday a while back.
Wow.
And yeah, it doesn't come out often, but I thought this was good and got some Disco Baller shoes to go with it.
I mean, we only do this every like 5 years so far, it seems like. So,
So we've been doing our top 100 of all time. This is the last one. This is the finale. And so if you've missed any of the previous ones, you want to go back and check them out, they're there. Otherwise, you can follow Greg on Instagram. You can check that out there at the bottom. You can talk to me as well. And without further ado, here's our top 10.
Top 10.
Before I get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to tell you about the Sell Trade program at Noble Knight Games. Now, as gamers, we all have games that are cluttering our shelves that we either don't have the right group for or might even not like it. Well, now you can turn those unappreciated games into cash or store credit. Noble Knight Games buys thousands of games and gaming products. It's easy to send them a list of the games that you'd like to sell or trade. Now they'll send you a quote and even pay for the shipping of the games. Get treated and paid like royalty while you sit back and collect cash or store credit. To get started, click the link in the description of this video or in that upper right corner there, and then click the Sell Trade button.
All right, my number 10.
Wait, before you say,
Yes.
do you think just in my 10 and your 10, we're going to have crossover?
Not as many as no, I don't think we're going to have that much.
A couple, though? What do you think? I think maybe 2. You're like thinking of your list right now.
Yeah, I got to...
I feel like there's some stuff you haven't brought up yet that I know you like.
Maybe 2. Yeah. After this one, I will look at my list, and then I will tell you.
Okay.
Because this one's not a crossover, because you already
go ahead.
said it.
But before you said your 10, I just wanted to ask that question.
You meant crossover within the top 10.
Yeah, like like something in my top 10 that would also be in yours.
I'll look after this one.
Okay, all right.
This was on his list
Okay.
a little while ago.
Yes.
This is an absolute masterpiece of a game that is big and grandiose, but is super streamlined. Building Rome. This is Foundations of Rome.
Wow, number 10.
Yes, and the reason why it's so high on this list is because him and I have talked in the series that we love games that are elegant, that have no fat on them, that are smooth like butter, and this game is that. You're essentially building these amazing buildings in Rome and scoring in all sorts of different ways, but it's so streamlined because on your turn you're like paying money and taking a card, and you're buying a lot, or you're placing a building. That's pretty much most of the game. Yeah. Super streamlined. Has a little feeling of Acquire with the B4 and C3, and you're trying to build around what other people are doing because certain types of buildings score better if they're next to other buildings and this and that. And so everything that somebody puts down becomes like an opportunity for something else for later when those different buildings come up for sale and such. But it has a lot of tension. It has that sort of like card drafting of like Century Spice Road from him.
Yeah.
But it has like the city. And it looks grandiose. And the cool thing is you can play it base game very simply. In fact, this game was reprinted at a retail level, a smaller box called Foundations of Metropolis.
Yeah.
So people can get it at a normal retail price. But Foundations of Rome, obviously big grandiose production. But you can add in all these expansions, and then it becomes a much longer, much crunchier game. And I like that it has that balance.
Yeah, as you add players and modules, it can go from a very quick streamlined 2-player something to like this big brain burner epic kind of game. So at least with that price point, if you buy the original, you're getting a lot of different experiences all in one box. Yeah. My number 10, you just brought up, but it wasn't Foundations of Rome. It was Acquire from 1963 and Sid Sackson.
I knew it'd be on the 10. I just didn't know how high.
I love Acquire. I've played thousands of games. I own too many games, 1,000 plus easily. I still am happy to pull out Acquire anytime.
Unless there's 2.
Unless it's 2 players. Yeah, it's not a 2 players. But if you're playing 3 to 6, boom, Acquire, I'm always down.
Could you imagine?
Yes.
If the grandfather of game design was still alive today and he got with Bruno Cathala to do Acquire Duel.
Oh, wow. Yes. I wish that Saxon was here and could see what has become of like tabletop gaming. Because
A lot of because of him.
yeah, I mean, he really is kind of the grandfather of modern strategy games, sort of Euro-y economic, all the kind of stuff that we've been talking about and that we
Yeah.
love. Oftentimes, like Century Spice Road, you just brought up too. Well, that's similar to Bazaar. Foundations of Rome. Well, that kind of reminds you of Acquire. Like, there's so many times that you can play something, and if you're familiar with his catalog at all, you're like, oh, this is kind of Sid Saxony.
Yep.
We'll use that as like a descriptor.
Game of 49.
It's kind of Sid Saxony. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I remember we said to the designer, like, oh, this kind of reminds us of Sid Saxony. He's like, I take that as a compliment. Because he knew, he recognized the greatness that was Sid Saxon. And he was a lover of the hobby. He was a collector of games.
Yeah.
And so I think, I would like to think he'd be really like blown away and excited by how the hobby has blown up.
He had a wall of games behind him where that was looked at as, this guy's weird.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it wasn't normal back then.
No.
Like, he was probably one of the only people in the world that had a room that looked like that.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
in those days.
And he had like filing cabinets with folders of games,
Yeah.
Anyway, we could talk about Sid Saxon. But Acquire, I mean, part of it is the nostalgia, right? I grew up playing it. I feel very fortunate that I grew up in a household where we played tabletop games. We played card games and board games and all that. And this is one of the ones that, I mean, I've been playing it since I was a kid. And I remember looking at the player aids that show you like all the payouts. And on the back would be like, my grandma's name, and it would be like the score she got when she played it in like 1978 or whatever, they were like logging plays on the backs of the player aids, before BGG was even a thing, before the internet was even a thing. And so I just have a lot of nostalgia with it, but I do think it holds up. And we talk about games that keep getting reprinted. We've talked about that throughout. You brought up Acquire, and it was one of the ones that made us think about that. I think they're going to keep making it. I think, it's been coming out now for 60 plus years. I think in 60 more years, it'll probably still be being reprinted.
Yeah, I mean, they just did the 60th anniversary edition recently, Renegade, and it's beautiful.
I think it does so much with such an elegant rule set. I mean, it's a grid. You just play a piece, you buy up to 3 stock and companies available, you draw a new piece. That's your turn. But there's so much that comes with it. There's so much predicting what's going to happen with the board. There's so much sort of trying to figure out how to make some short-term money so that you can kind of parlay that into some long-term money. There's trying to predict which ones are going to last till the end and trying to fight for those majorities. There's a memory element, which we talked about in the last video, that I always enjoy, of trying to remember who's bought what, And
Oh, you play closed stocks and closed money?
no, the stocks, we know which companies you bought in, but not how many you have.
Okay.
Is how we usually play it. I think that's how we play it. We played it with
I
you
play
too.
closed money open stocks. Because I like to know
So
if
you
I'm
know
going-
exactly how many stocks
Yes,
everybody
because I
has?
like because you could play it either way. But I like having the open because if I'm going to go hard at something, I want to know, like, am I doing this? Am I actually even tied with them at this point or not?
I like the challenge of trying to remember, because everyone will say what they bought. I want to buy 2 worldwides and
Yeah.
1 American or whatever. And so you can track it, but it's not quite perfect knowledge. I think when it comes to like trick takers, for instance, you kind of prefer not fully perfect knowledge, right? I kind of employ that same mindset with Acquire, where it's like, if you're paying attention, you'll have a rough idea of how many stocks everybody has. And you're supposed to stack them. People are supposed to know what you've bought in, but not necessarily how many exactly you have of each. You can always count the stack of what's left over.
Yeah.
And there's 25 total of each, so you can kind of do some math there. But anyway, I think it holds up. I think for a very simple rule set, it has a lot of interesting choices. Granted, there's enough luck that you cannot always guarantee a win. No matter how good you are at Acquire, you will not win it every time you play it. However, I do think you can kind of go, I've been done a little bit of a raw deal. I'm still going to do the best I can. And if you feel like you've gotten crappy tiles the whole game and you pull off like a 2nd place, that's a win, So I love it. I love Acquire. It's nostalgic, but I think it holds up. It'll continue to be reprinted. And I think it's the best Sid Saxon game. And that's my number 10, Acquire.
There you go. Okay, before I get to my number 9, I did look at my list, and I think I agree with you. I think we're going to have 2 crossovers in the top 10.
I think so. Unless I'm misremembering.
Yeah, I think so.
Saying I like memory games, so I could be misremembering, but I think there's 2. I think there's 2 as well.
My number 9 is a pretty grandiose 3-hour game all about negotiations in the mobsters. This is Nothing Personal.
Kiss the Ring.
Kiss the Ring. Nothing Personal. Co-designed by Tom Vassell, and
Yep.
Steve Avery.
Yep.
This game, again, packs an amazing experience that is unforgettable, non-binding, open negotiations, basically mean area control, moving up a pyramid, playing cards sometimes in your turn, sometimes out of a turn, borrowing money from somebody to roll a die to whack a guy, which basically means killing them in this regard. And you're taking over people, and you got all these devious plans, and you're working with other people, and then later on you're stabbing each other in the back. Again, this does not come out very often.
No.
But when it does,
It's always a ball.
it's always the best time ever. And if you like very mean negotiation games, mess with your buddies, make them kiss the ring when you're the capo. Nothing personal.
It's a great opportunity to do your Godfather impression too.
Yep.
My number 9 is from 2009, I believe. This is another one of those games that we picked up soon after it came out, and it just gets to the table consistently every year since. And it is a rondel game with some delivery of goods. It is Finca.
Whoa!
Finca-
Holy crap! Top 10.
What's not to love?
It's amazing. It made my list earlier.
Yeah, you brought it up earlier. Finca has this great, once again, just kind of two push and pulls. Like, yes, you're trying to get the goods on the rondel to deliver to the people who want those goods. But every once in a while, the rondel is just so tempting to just land somewhere and get a ton of goods. You don't need them quite yet, but you'll figure out how to use them. And so you're always kind of, assessing that rondel of what goods are available, what goods can I get, but also assessing the map. And it's changing all the time as people are taking things. And then there's that one little extra element of when all of the tiles in a map are finished, you'll look at everything in everyone's tableau, and there'll be a little extra 5 points that you get if you have the most of a certain good. And so there's so much planning ahead in a game that's very, very mechanically very simple, and there's so much tactics, but also this sort of overarching strategy of trying to get the different values so you can get those bonus points. Packs a lot into a very quick, efficient runtime, and they keep reprinting this one too. And this feels like one of those.
They just Pandasaurus just reprinted it last year, and now it's at it was like $30 MSRP, smaller box, smaller board, stuff like that. But now it's affordable and it's out there. Where this tended to be, this used to be like an impossible game to find.
Yeah, for a while it was kind of like this hard to find Grail game almost, but it's back. So yeah, I love Finca. I think it's an evergreen for me. It's one of these ones that we just always keep coming back to. It's one of these games like Century Spice Road or some other ones that are going to come up that it's just. You want to play Finca? Yeah, always. It's just always a fun challenge. We've 3D printed some elements to kind of deluxify it a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, I love it. It's my number 9.
It's a fantastic game.
Finca.
My number 8 is a medium weight game where you're in the desert and you're playing a little Mancala. This is 5 Tribes from Bruno Cathala.
Oh, yes, I knew this would be in your top 10.
Yeah, this game is just an amazing puzzle. This is a game based on Mancala, the ancient game. And in this game, there's 5 different tribes. They all have different sort of abilities. As you pick them up and drop them off, and the last time you activate the ability, but you're also activating the tile you're on. So there's like 2 puzzles going on at once. The tribe type and then the tile type. And it's like a point salad. It almost feels a little Feldish in that regard.
Yeah.
Where like, hey, you can just make a bunch of money and money's points. You could get these really powerful djinns that have all these abilities. You can get all the go to the market and get the markets. You can have the most viziers, or you can have the assassins that are killing other people's stuff, All these different ways to score. But one of the coolest things also is that each turn you bid for turn order, and you bid with coins, which is one of the things you get from one of the tribes. But it's also a point. Like money is points. You're literally bidding points to go first or second or third or fourth or fifth. And it's really makes the tension of the game really well, because what happens is you sit there, you study this puzzle, and you're like, oh my gosh, I see this amazing opportunity. And you're like, well, I wonder if anyone else sees this. I don't want anyone else to get that. I'm going to bid 10. Well, how many points am I going to get with that? I'm going to get 18. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Right? But you don't know if any other people see it. And so the coolest thing here is like the opportunities are always there. They change every turn, even every game. They even change within a turn. Someone else does something and they've laid out new people. Yeah. And now you're like, oh, now I could do this. And there's like, which can give you some analysis.
You're constantly assessing and reassessing and assessing and reassessing.
The puzzle changes every game, every turn, and within turns. And I just love it because you're constantly recalculating. It's so fun. And it works really well with 2, because when you bid, you could like purposely bid to be second and third, go twice in a row, and have my second turn and set myself up for the third turn. The game is just an absolute gem masterpiece, Five Tribes.
This used to be like in your logo, wasn't it?
Yeah, like in the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not shocked that it was on your list.
Yeah.
My number 8 is from a designer we've talked about once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 times, Stefan Feld.
Wow, Carpe Diem made this high?
Carpe
Oh, by the way, we have
Diem.
not talked about our choices, if it's not obvious
But
yet.
you knew I was going to say Carpe Diem, and I hadn't said it yet, so you knew it would come up. I love Carpe Diem. It's from 2018.
Top 10, I would not have guessed that.
It's just always a fun challenge. Ultimately, it's a spatial puzzle. You have your own player board. You're laying tiles out on it, but there's the main board where you're sort of bouncing around from the different caches of tiles that you're grabbing and adding to your player board. And talk about assessing and reassessing, because with this game, you'll have kind of an overarching kind of idea of what you want to work on, because there are, every time you play, a different set of goals that you're working on. But you have to kind of race to have, you have to kind of set yourself up to be in the position to make sure you can trigger the end of round bonuses that you want. Because if you don't get to select first, that the whole round that you've been spent working on that could be kind of negated by the fact that someone else got to grab those objectives before you. And it's public knowledge for everybody. So you're always kind of working towards, well, I need to get things done on my board, but I also need to make sure I can pick first so I can get the objectives that I need. And meanwhile, the tiles come out and the different sort of spots that you can grab, and you're going, well, I need to do that at some point, but maybe that's a higher priority. And once again, you're always assessing and reassessing, and then people take things, and you're like, those tiles are going to disappear soon. I need to pivot. I need to go for that now, because I have to make sure I get that done before, whatever. The player board's slightly different every time. The tiles come out in a different order every time. It's just a great mind-bending little spatial puzzle. It packs so much thought and choice into really like 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops. And I love it. Especially the old version that I have is super ugly, but man, it just proves that I'm a mechanics over looks kind of gamer, because I just think it's so genius. And the only downside to it is just if I'm in the mood to play a Feld, I just almost always pick this one. And there's so many other of his great games that I love that just get neglected, because it's like, well, let's just play Carpe Diem.
Yeah, Carpe Diem's up until recently, it was my favorite of his, and now Druids of Ador is kind of like knocking on the door. So
yeah, I need to play Druids of Ador more. I could see it rising up the ranks, but Carpe Diem has just been something I've enjoyed for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And it just never gets old for me. So yeah, that's my number 8, Carpe Diem by Stefan Feld, the genius.
All right, number 7, and I actually did not plan this. I just realized that number 7 is Lucky 7. And for me, there's a lot of luck in this game. Lords of Vegas.
Oh, Lords of Vegas. Great choice.
Another sort of economic game in a way, where you're back in the heyday of the strip being made, and you're going out there and you're getting some lots of land, and you're building some casinos on there, and then you're trying to take over the casinos that are next to you and remodel into their kind and taking them over. Sometimes you're spending money to re-roll all the people's dice, so now you can become the boss, and you can be the one to make all the money when that card comes up on the strip. It is just, mechanically, it's a pretty simple game, build, remodel, go gamble at someone else's casino, try to make some more money if you're just a few dollars short of an action you want to take.
Yeah.
It's area control, it's meanness, but there's a lot of luck. You got to go into this game being like, I could play a really good game, and still in the end, it could come down to one roll that I lose, and I'm screwed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it is a fantastic ride. It feels very Vegas-ish in that way. They just came out recently, with a new version with some of the expansion maps,
Different
stuff like
maps,
that.
yeah, maps that play different player counts.
Yeah,
and stuff
Lords
like
of
that.
Vegas is it's so fun.
Yeah, great choice. My number 7 is a trick-taking game,
Whoa!
and my favorite. It is a bidding trick-taking game. It's based off of Wizard, and it is Skulking. Grandpa Beck's Skulking. And the very best version of it, don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, is the Schmidt-Spiel version. It has the best art. It's none of the extra rules and all that. This is the one. Just said that.
I do have 3 extra copies of that version behind me too, because we imported this before it was actually really available
I
here.
have 2 versions of it, 2 copies of it as well.
Yeah.
Because at some point I just realized I love this game so much, and I'm like, the box is so worn. This is the nicer version. Even this one's starting to show some wear and tear. They've added some new things to it that I think kind of muddy the waters. I like this version. I think it's stripped down, and ultimately it's still a fleshed out version of Wizard. Basically, this hierarchy of like Trump characters that are more powerful than others, but some of them can capture other ones. There's all these little bonus points you can get, but it's a swingy, very challenging trick-taking game. It's not for beginner trick-takers because you never score unless you get your bid exactly.
No, you do score. You just score negative.
Well, yeah, that's true. You can potentially score negative. But like you can never get points unless you've met your bid exactly. And when you're playing with like 5, 6 players, because it goes up to 6 players, it is really hard to get your bid. You don't know what people have. You don't know what they're going to throw out there. You don't know the order they're going to, you don't know if like, I have a 7. This isn't going to take a trick. It's a 7. But if someone leads and other people can't follow suit, you might win with that 7. And then you've got to pivot part way through. It is unforgiving, but you always feel like you're in it. You always feel like you can come back. And we keep talking about, I like the mechanics of this. I like how it implements the theme. I like how it's thinky. I think it's a thoughtful design. I think it's whatever. This game is just fun.
It is.
It's just fun. And it's like that gets lost sometimes when people discuss modern games. People get so excited about mechanics or whatever. And ultimately, it's fun for those people. But Skull King is just fun. It's just fun in a box. And I love how challenging it is. I love that you never feel like you're out because there's always a chance that someone's going to bid 0 and get minus points. I love it. I love Skull King. It's my number 7. I'll never not enjoy Skull King. Yeah. It's just going to always be one of my all-time favorites.
Caveat, though, you won't be able to find the version that he talked about.
Maybe you can find a used copy.
But don't steer away from the current Grandpa Beck's version because you can still play it with the rules that you like. You don't have to use, they have all the other things they added are optional. You don't have to play with those.
Yes, I like that you pointed that actually. That's something I wanted to say because there's been a lot of different variations on how to play, lots of extra cards and things. And I've seen people play tournaments at cons where they have slightly different rules on things. So yeah, I like this version of it the best. You can find the rules online and play it with the new version of the cards. I think the art though is the best. So if you can find one of these used copies, maybe you can talk Dan into selling you one of his extra copies.
I think I got 2 or 3 in shrink.
He's got them hoarded here.
There you go, Skull King.
Number 7, Skull King.
All right, my number 6 is my highest rated social deduction game.
Ooh, wow.
And it's one that you had on your list a while back.
Okay.
It plays, I think, 4-ish to 11 people, maybe even 12. I don't know.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it goes to 12.
Yeah, 4 to 12. This is where you're trying to figure out who the murderer is.
Wow. Wow.
It's called Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
This is your number 6. I love it.
The
it's
reason
a great game.
the reason why I love this game so much, because in most social deduction games, you have to lie to get people. And lots of people don't want to have to lie.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the pressure of
like,
it.
We have a friend, Warren, yes, we're talking about you, who anytime he's a bad guy and you look at your roll and you close your eye, you open your eyes, if his face is red, he's bad. And you can point at him and go, "You're bad, aren't you?" And he'll just start laughing. Like he can't lie.
Wow,
right?
Warren got called out.
It's some people just they can't play games so you have to lie. In this game, you don't have to lie if you're a bad guy. Because what happens is there's a murder, one person knows who the murderers are, and what sort of like cards in front of them they use. There's like a weapon and a motive or something, an item.
Yeah.
And so they secretly point at it so the one person knows. And so what happens, everyone closes their eyes or this and that. Once everyone's eyes are open, the person who knows can't say anything, but they're giving silent clues as to like, hey, there was extra blood, or there was a loud noise, or there was an elevator shaft or something. They've got these different things.
Sort of categories of clues.
And so all people are doing are pointing out what cards in front of other players have most to do with the clues this person's giving.
Right.
So even if I'm bad, I don't have to lie. I just have to say, well, it could easily be this, this, and this. And I'm not lying because it could be.
They said there's a loud noise and you've got a chainsaw in front of you.
But there's also lots of roles that you could play with, the advanced roles, and there's all sorts of people. There's one guy that he can give up his only guess to like reveal himself. Like there's all sorts of like crazy stuff. But at the core, the game takes like 5 minutes, and you'll play it a bunch in a row.
But you end up discussing.
Yes.
The conversations can kind of flesh it out.
Because it's the most streamlined, most elegant, and it's a ton of fun, and you don't have to lie. It's one of my favorites.
I guess I didn't realize you hadn't brought this one up yet, but I do like that element of it, that you can just float ideas based off of the clues that you've been given, which is a very low pressure way of sort of staying under the radar.
Yep.
Very cool. My number 6 is from Marc Andre. It is sort of the quintessential stripped down engine builder game.
Whoa!
Splendor.
Holy crap.
I love Splendor. And here's the thing. Splendor Duel adds some cool new elements and all that. And in some ways it might be objectively better, but Splendor just has like a place in my heart. Like I've just played it so many times. It's also a game that I turned on my parents to, like I taught it to them. And so like they grew up playing games with me and kind of infused my love of playing board games and card games. And then as they got older, you know, they didn't keep up on all the new hotness or whatever, but me and my brothers would gift them things. And Splendor is one of the ones that they ended up with. And they would play it as a couple all the time, just the two of them.
Didn't she like beat you?
Yes, they got really good at it. In fact, after my dad passed, whenever I did get a chance to visit her, we lived in different states, but it was sort of my pleasure to be able to sort of be her opponent and play Splendor with her after my dad passed away. And I just have a sort of emotional attachment to the original, even though, like I said, I think Splendor Duel does some interesting new things with it and fleshes it out and kind of brings more to the table. But Splendor's one of those games where, and Skull King's kind of like this too. Anytime you play a trick-taking game, we go, but is it better than Skull King? And like, there's a lot of games where you go, oh, this is like Splendor, but they did this. This is like Splendor, but there's a spatial element. This is like Splendor, but there's this. Yeah. And it's like one of these games that feels like it should have been invented so long ago because it just feels like it had such an impact on the industry. It's not a very flashy choice. A lot of people are like Splendor. It's just like the simple little engine builder game. But I just think there's no fat on it. I think it's totally streamlined. I think it's tense from turn one. And the more you play it with like the same opponents, you just realize that there's just so much to consider. And there's just, it's so tense and it's so exciting from turn one. And it's just like you're off and running. And it's like you don't have any room to make any mistakes because you've just got it down, you know, the strategy of it down. Great production too, nice art, all those sorts of things as well. But yeah, that's my number, what are we at, 6? Yeah, Splendor. Love Splendor. And everything is Splendor. Don't forget it, kids.
Everything is Splendor. My number 5 is an economic game. Take a shot.
To the very end.
This is my highest rated economic game.
Yeah.
It's an absolute masterpiece where you're building up your power plants around different maps. And this is Freedom and Freeze's Power Grid.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd brought this up yet.
I love this game so much. It is so mathy. It is so, you're calculating constantly.
Yes.
It has a great auction mechanism, which, you know, it's nothing flashy about the way it works, but it works because you're trying to figure out what power plants to get into, and you're trying to step on other people's toes. Then you're buying resources to power these plants, and you can stack twice as many as your opponents just to screw them out on the pricing of things. But I love how mathy it is and how like you're building this engine up and you're making some money, and the next round you're getting more and more money, and then it kind of has this like nice feeling engine where but you can also get blocked. It has route building, so you're like building up and down the coasts of different maps. And you're trying to like not get stuck in the corner because it's going to cost you a super amount of money to like connect through other cities to get there. So there's like that like blocking route building aspect. But just the thinkiness of it and the mathiness of it where it's like, I want that power plant. So does that person. How much can I pay for it? Well, I need to buy 3 oil for that one and this or this. That's this much.
Constantly recalculating.
I want to move to this. I want to go to this one. So that's that much. I have this much. I can spend up to $35 on this and not a penny more. And like thinking through those things and then having your plan come through is just, the game is fantastic.
But then there's also almost like a bluffing element where you don't want them to know that's your cap. So you're confidently bidding 34 as if you've got tons more money to spend when really like you're bumping up against your cap.
Yep.
Great game.
It's so good. I have so many of the expansions that I've never played just because.
And there's all the variants. There's the factory one. There's like the Stone Age one.
Yeah, those are like spin-offs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
his best game, don't you think?
Yeah, it's my favorite game of his.
That'd be funny if you're like, no, number 4 it is.
It's I love it.
Yeah, Power Grid.
Mechanically, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, but definitely mathy. You gotta be in the mood for some math. My number 5 is, I mean, this could be almost a lifestyle game with all the expansions they put out on this one. This is the OG Donald X Vaccarino deck builder Dominion.
I knew this would be this high.
Yes, Dominion. At one point I made this list, I think it was my number one. I have so many reps on this. In fact, I was just talking to my friend Brett the other day about this old like bootleg online version of it, Dominion Isotropic. There was, up until about Hinterland, that expansion maybe, there was this online sort of not approved version of Dominion, and him and his roommate at the time and me at the time, without really knowing each other, we were hooked on it. We've talked about it since. I've forgotten half the things I once learned about it, but I remember going online and playing this sort of bootleg version of it. And I already loved the physical version, but going on and just being destroyed by people who just played it to death. And he was talking about his roommate at the time who he would like be gone all day and he'd come home and he's like, "You're still playing Dominion?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been playing it for like 8 hours straight, you know?" It just hooks you. And the physical version's amazing too. And my wife and I, Stephanie, we picked up all the expansions. We bought these storage boxes, everything's sorted and labeled with like tags. And it's, like I said, it's almost a lifestyle game because you can just mix and match all these cards, and it's got to be like endless possibilities of the way these cards all combo together. And yet at its core, it's so simple. Just put out 10 random action cards, start with some points and some money, and you're off and running. And like I said, I've probably forgotten half the stuff I once learned when I used to play it online so much. Now we only play it in person, but I'll never get tired of it. And I think it's the fact that it sparked basically a whole genre of games.
Which doesn't really happen anymore.
It doesn't feel like it happens anymore. There's like games like The Crew, where we talked about how like, oh, this feels like a new variation on trick taking because now it's cooperative, and there's been a few other games like it. But this really just captured the imagination of the whole hobby.
Yeah.
And there were so many people who I mean, we talked about Dune Imperium on the last list. You know, it's number 5 on BGG.
Yeah, clearly inspired by Dominion.
It doesn't get there unless Dominion, came first. So yeah, that's my number 5. Almost feel bad not having it higher. I love this game so much. But there's other games that just recently have captured my imagination a little bit more. So yeah, that's my number 5, Dominion.
Okay, my number 4 will not be a crossover for you.
We haven't had any crossover yet, have we?
Not yet.
Okay.
Crazy. My number 4 is what could I say? It is the new modern classic of board games. It's sold over 20 million copies. It's probably the most popular game modern in any store these days. It's Ticket to Ride.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I have a very special place in my heart for this game because, if you watch my channel, my whole thing is breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games. And when I talk to people out on the street or just talk to friends of friends, and they're like, "Hey, well, what game should I get?" I did a few years ago. I did my top 15 games to start a collection with. This was number 1 because it's so easy to get into that people that have not played these types of games, they've only played Uno or Monopoly, and they don't really know what this world exists. You put down Ticket to Ride in front of them, and inherently they just understand how the game works. It's basically playing gin rummy and putting trains across their geographic location, right?
Yeah.
The original one was the United States, which is where I live. So this game just goes over huge. And then since then, of course, there's been a million expansions. And then they made the small city versions that are like 15 minutes long. So even better, someone comes over that doesn't know about games. Here's a 10-minute game we can play. And if they like it, then you play the full Ticket to Ride. That's like 45 minutes, which probably feels long to someone who hasn't played a lot of games. But Ticket to Ride is, again, no fat. Pick up cards or play cards. That's it. You're basically set collection. You're doing like gin rummy style sets, throwing them down of the same color and putting your little trains and building your routes. Get some secret goals that are really fun. You're trying to maybe possibly block other people. And that's another thing I love about this game. You can play it very casually and very nice. Or if you have all the base cards memorized, like I did after playing it a gazillion times,
wow,
you can just see where people are building and you know what cards in their hand, and you can. It's not always advantageous to block in this game because if you're doing that, you're not helping yourself. But if you can block and help yourself,
maybe you do like a little bit roundabout of a path.
Yeah. So anyway, this game can be played at all levels, very casual, very serious, but anybody can play it, and everybody that I play with tends to love it. And there's a reason why it sold 20 million, and it's just got optioned for a Netflix movie show.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I think it's also, it feels like, besides that, and that's going to really propel it, but I feel like even before that, it feels like it's making its way into like the mainstream. It's one of the few hobby games that's kind of crossing over.
There was an SNL skit about it a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like you can bring it up to people who, like you said, know nothing about modern games, and they're like, "Oh, I've heard of Ticket to Ride." Like it's starting to cross over, and so yeah, the for the influence alone, I understand why it deserves to be on a list like this. And I mentioned the Legacy one earlier, because I think that's the best version of it. It feels like you're kind of using like this as the whole category of Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, and earlier I talked about my oldest brother who's a game curmudgeon where he just doesn't like things just because he doesn't like things.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride's his favorite game.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he sent me a picture 2 weeks ago of just them playing it. I'm like, that's when you know you got something special. Someone who like actively hates things, and then all of a sudden he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's unmistakably like the quintessential gateway game to the hobby.
For sure.
My number 4 has been brought up before. This is one of the ones I thought would be a crossover. I was like, unless he's brought it up and I've forgotten. It is a cutthroat economic game where it's back when Vegas was run by the mobsters, and this is Lords of Vegas. And so the game very much simulates that. It's just a mean, cutthroat, stab people in the back version of Vegas. The non-family friendly version of Vegas from back in the day. I don't know what else to say about it. Every action in it, there's some gamble related to it, so thematically it's just so clever. This is just such an underrated game. I don't know why this isn't like number 5 on BGG. Because we talked about how there's just some games where you forget, like, oh, why are we playing this? Well, the purpose is to have fun. Lords of Vegas is just fun in a box. Now, you can't be too invested in winning because, like you said, bad die roll and your host, but it's Vegas, baby. What do you expect?
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's my number 4, Lords of Vegas.
Awesome. All right, we're at the top 3.
Woo,
and by the way,
3.
so we had your the one crossover, and here comes the second crossover. And we thought we were going to have just 2 in this top 10.
Of the 10.
Top the 10.
To 10, the top 10s compared.
And I know 2 of your final 3, so I'm really curious what the third one is. I don't know what order.
Do you really know 2 of my final 3?
For sure.
Oh, what if I forgot something?
There's no way. There's no way. Absolutely not.
Okay.
So my number 3, he mentioned earlier, best trick-taking game of all time, Skull King.
Skull King.
Unbelievable. Just like he said, not when he was talking about Skull King, but a couple of segments later, he said, every time you play a trick-taking game, even if it's amazing, we always just go, but is it better than Skull King? And the answer is always no. Always. It's never been yes. Never. I don't care what game it is. We've played hundreds and hundreds of trick-taking games. No game is better than this. Here's what makes it the best.
Yeah, please.
2 things. Number 1,
I felt tongue-tied because I'm so excited about it, but I want to hear your thoughts.
The simultaneous bidding.
Yes.
The yo-ho-ho.
It's so goofy, but it's amazing.
It's goofy, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And the simultaneous bidding can really screw. It's like, oh, man, there's 8 bids and there's only 4, running around 4. And you only get 4 cards. The pyramid, where you get 1 card in the first round, 2 cards in the second round, all the way to the 10th round. So the game starts easy and eases you in, and then the decisions get harder and harder and harder. Third, when you bid 0, you multiply the round. So in round 1, if you bid 0 tricks and get it, you get 10 points. In round 10, you get 100 points. You get 100 points.
Or minus 100.
Or minus 100. So he said you're never out of it. That's part of the reason why, because you can 0 bid and do it. Those are some of the things that makes it amazing. But also, the final thing really is it's one of the very few games, trick-taking games, that work excellently with 2 players, but with 0 variance. I don't know why. It just works.
It just works.
If you play most trick-taking games with 2 players, it doesn't work. I don't know really why this one does work at 2, but I think it's because of that simultaneous bidding still does it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought all those points up. I really love the point you made about how in the earlier rounds, the stakes are so low because you get points per trick you take. And so there's only a couple tricks to take because you're only playing with a couple cards in those early rounds. So you can kind of learn the game in the early rounds. It's like, okay, now it's starting to matter. Now that we're around 4 or 5, but at that point, you've learned it. And now you're ready to play. And all of those early rounds almost don't matter that much. Yeah, you can grab a little bit of a lead or fall into a little bit of a deficit, but I do love that about it. It is just a masterpiece.
It is.
And by far the best of the whole Grandpa Beck's line of games.
Yeah.
I mean, just heads and shoulders above everything else.
Head and shoulders above everything. It's so good. It's
Yeah.
our number 3 and number, what was it?
What did I say? Number 7?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll play it anytime.
Which puts it in the first, like, 0.08%
0.0 whatever,
of
yeah,
games
yeah.
we've ever played.
Oh, I love it. All right. Number 3.
Yeah.
Wow, Skull King's your number 3. I don't blame you.
I'm dying to find out what the one is I'm not remembering.
Well, I'm worried now that there's some game that I forgot.
There's no way. You always talk about it. There's no way.
All right, my number 3 is an economic game.
Uh-oh. Oh, yes. Okay.
And it's,
Yeah.
oh, man, it's so elegant. It is so good. There's 2 maps. One is 2 or 3 players. One is, up to 5. If you have 5 players, play the big map. You have 3 players, play the little map, because you really want to max out the player count, because that's when it's the most cutthroat, and it is Smartphone Inc. Smartphone Inc. is, I think, the most elegant, beautiful, just economic game that there is. And it simulates, all the actions make sense. Everything simulates the feeling of running a company. It's basically set in like the early days of smartphones. And so you're trying to basically release the best product that the most customers, or the customers at least that you're trying to target, will want to buy. It has this incredible action selection mechanic that I don't understand why it's not used in like every other game, because in so many games you're just sitting and waiting for people to take their actions. In this one, you have these 2 paddles that have a bunch of actions printed on them, and they're double-sided. And we all simultaneously decide which actions we're going to take based on how we overlap these paddles, and then we reveal. And I just think that's such a genius way to sort of choose how you're going to play the round, kind of predict what other people are doing, but also basically decide where your focus is going to be for that round. No downtime, because then you just go through all the different steps of the round. It's like, okay, well, you raised your prices, you lowered your prices, you moved to this location, you did all these things, and it just runs so smoothly. I'm just enamored with this game. I think it's incredible. I think it's the best economic game. And then with the little expansion pack that came out a little bit later, there's all these variants and ways that you can mix and match and have new ways to innovate the game, new technologies that your phones can utilize, new kinds of customers. There's just so much going on, but yet everything makes sense. And it's so easy to teach, because you go, well, if you innovate this new invention or this new innovation on your phone, now other people can reverse engineer it, and so it costs them a little bit less. And it's like everything makes sense thematically, which is not always true. There's games that you love, but you're like, why are we doing this? I don't know. It's just because the rule book says so. Smartphone Inc., I can explain it. It all makes sense. I love it. I love it. I'll never get tired of it. I spent way too much money on it when it was kind of between print runs at one point.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But
it's one I wish. I've only played it once.
You need to
It was
play
a
it
terrible
again.
experience, because somebody at the table was ruining the game for everybody.
Yeah,
and it's
they were
like,
critiquing it.
And I really want to play this again, because it's the style of game that I love.
And it's fast too. Once
Yeah.
once you know what you're doing, I mean, you could play a full game in maybe 75 minutes, maybe 90. And 5 players is good with the big map, or 3 players with the small map, because in the last couple of rounds, after you've kind of built things up, you're competing for the same customers, and it becomes super cutthroat, which is the other reason why I feel like this is why I brought it to you initially, because I was like, it's economic, it's cutthroat, it's area control, the theming makes sense with the mechanics. There's just nothing not to like about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smartphone Inc. is a masterpiece, and it's my number 3.
Before I get to this next one, I wanted to let you know that you can get over 100 individual promo cards for just $50, and there's amazing game bundles of popular games on my Season 14 Kickstarter fundraising campaign that's live right now when this video launches. It's how I raise money to be able to spend as much time as I do creating content for you. Lots of things sell out quickly. If you'd like to check it out, click the eye up there in the corner, and I'd really appreciate it.
No, now I'm getting worried, because I know one of them has to be there, and I would be really surprised if it's your number 1, which now makes me think, holy crap, am I not even thinking about what your number 1 is? Like, and then you're gonna say, and I'm gonna go, oh, of course. Like, you know.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So my number 2 game of all time is a 2-player deduction game. Not
Social deduction.
not social deduction, not
it's
logic
2-player.
spreadsheety deduction.
Okay.
It's kind of like a hidden movement game with some deductive elements. This is Mr. Jack in New York.
Oh, of course, of course.
Bruno Cathala, Ludovic Maublanc, masterpiece. There's 4 games in the Mr. Jack series. There was the original Mr. Jack. This was the second one, Mr. Jack in New York.
Yeah.
Then there was Mr. Jack Pocket, and then there was Phantom of the Opera, which was the 4th one.
Yeah.
This is by far my favorite one. This game, it's basically an abstract game with special abilities, where one player plays as Jack the Ripper, and they are secretly one of the 8 characters in the game that they find out at the beginning of the game. The other player, asymmetrically, is the investigator. And they're trying to either catch Jack by accusing him, but Jack's trying to either escape or last to the 8th round or trick the other player into excusing somebody else. So this game is great because, number one, there's a great amount of strategy and luck. Each round, 4 characters come out. Each of them have a special ability. So they all move different. So think like chess. They all move similarly, but they all have a little twist of things that they can do. And at the end of the round, anybody that's under a light or next to somebody else can be seen. Anyone that's in the dark can't be seen. And the investigator is trying to like cut it in half every round. And the Jack character is trying to keep them all clumped or keep them all separate.
Yeah.
So there's this push and pull. But one of the brilliant things, I don't know why this isn't used in more 2-player games, is one player gets a turn, the other player gets 2 turns in a row, and the other player gets the last turn. And the next round it flips.
Yeah.
And it's just, mechanically, it's an absolute gem. And this is my favorite version because as you're doing things, you're actually building the board. You're building metro stations to jump around. You're building light poles to put light. You're building parks where people can hide. In every game, the board gets created by the decisions you make. And so every game feels completely different. In fact, I love this game so much, you could probably barely see behind me on the table over there. I'm in the middle of building an absolute wacky, giant version of Mr. Jack. You probably see some like huge trees and stuff over there. I'm going to be doing a video about this in probably the next month or so. What can I say about this game? This game is, I've played this game more than any other game in my collection, over 250 times, with the caveat being that a lot of those were online.
Sure.
You used to be able to play this online and on its own server. You can play the original Mr. Jack on Board Game Arena.
Okay.
But this version, you could only play like on the Mr. Jack website, but it's no longer running.
It's not supported.
Right, and so I have played this a ton.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. It's one of those games that if you know it really well, teaching people, it probably takes a handful of plays till they can be competitive.
Well, and you have such an advantage.
So it is one of those games where like you'll crush somebody. So like I have to I kind of have to ease them in and teach them to get someone that can play it, and then you got to play with that person. You know, like
Of all the Mr. Jacks, which one do you think sort of evens the playing field between the most experienced and the new player? Is that Pocket? Is that, or do they all have that kind of disadvantage where if
the
you're
easiest is
experienced?
probably Phantom of the Opera because the only one you can actually balance left and right at the beginning of the game as to like how
They
it
actually
is.
have a thing where you can say, hey, if you're experienced, okay.
Yeah. However, yeah, it's
But it's your least favorite of the 4, isn't it? Phantom of the
yeah,
Opera?
I'd say.
Yeah.
I love them all though. This game, it's absolutely, it's a gem. It's underrated. It's under talked about.
I knew you'd have a Mr. Jack game, obviously, and I should have predicted, of course, it would be this
So
one.
good.
Yeah. All right, number 2. We've talked about before. It's by Reiner Knizia. It's from 1999.
Lost Cities?
Lost Cities.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, I can't believe what your number 1 is going to be then. Now I'm really surprised.
Okay, we got to talk at the end because I'm curious
Okay.
what you thought was going to be there. That's
Lost Cities number 2. Now that I'm very surprised at.
It's also one of these games that my wife and I picked
I
up.
do love that you're picking lots of classics though.
Yeah, well, we picked it up maybe 20 plus years ago, and once again, just never got tired of it. I think you've touched on it before when you brought it up. The tension right off the bat, first of all, because the first thing you're going to do if you really want to win is you're putting down multipliers. But you're potentially putting down multipliers for negative points. Because if you can't get to a certain total, 20, with the cards that you play, then that's all those multipliers are minus points against you. And so it's just tense right off the bat. Your opponent can see what you're doing and just choose to hoard those cards. You can sort of store cards in the middle because you're so much hand management in this, right? It's like you want to hoard cards from your opponent that you know you need, but you're also fishing for the cards that you need. You don't want to start a race. You don't want to start like an exploration until you've got more cards in there, so you feel like safe to start with those multipliers. And so there's like so much you're trying to do with the hand management element. So you're tempted to just put stuff out in the middle and kind of store it there, but then it gets snatched from you. And it's like, so you can see what they're working on. They can kind of bluff and double bluff. I mean, it just never gets old. It's a masterpiece. I think it's the best Knizia game. I think that's also evidenced by the fact that they keep rolling out new versions of it, all of which are far inferior to the first one, although some of them are fine. But yeah, Lost Cities, I just never get tired of it. I can play it with my wife endlessly. She loves it. I love it. We're so evenly matched in it too. And it's one of those games like we talked about before where like mechanically it's so simple that the game is about matching wits with your opponent. It's not about, oh, I didn't quite get those mechanics. No, the mechanics are simple. It's about matching wits with your opponents and pivoting and figuring out what they're trying to do and plan accordingly. And these push-pulls of like, do I try to stop them or do I just focus on my own game? And we always play 3 rounds so that if you get a little bit of a bad deal, it doesn't matter. You can make up for it in a future round. But yeah, I love it. Lost Cities, unapologetically one of my favorite games of all time. Not a flashy, exciting pick, not a new thing. It's been around for 27 years and it's still just a blast.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was on my list in one of the earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't an earlier video. It's not one that you expected in my top 3 then, huh?
No.
Huh. All right. That's my number 2. I'm worried now that I've forgotten something that you're.
And I'm worried that I forgot something. But like,
Before I get to the moment you've been waiting for, I wanted to let you know that Game Toppers is giving 15% off premium game mats and accessories specifically to my US and Canada audience using code GameBoyGeek15 off for a limited time only. Hear more about this at the end of my final thoughts.
all right, here we go. Number 1.
The big moment.
I mean, if you've watched my channel for any amount of years, you probably already know what it is. This is a 2-player tactical card game about baseball. Baseball Highlights 2045. Now, granted, it is 2-player,
A deck builder.
but which is odd because I don't even like deck builders. It is a 2-player game. However, you can play with as many people as you want. You can play with up to 4 in a tournament. I've played huge tournaments. We had a 16-player tournament
You
here
have to have
before.
multiple copies of the game.
Yeah, multiple copies. There's nothing more fun than having a huge baseball highlights tournament. Oh my gosh, it's so you get the baseball organ music playing in the background. You got popcorn and hot dogs. And it's amazing. The game is just an absolute masterpiece by Mike Fitzgerald. Actually, Football Highlights 2052 was the follow-up, and that made my other list, the last video. It's such a masterpiece because you're essentially building a team of deck building, and you're buying better players as the game goes on. So your team's going to get better and better and better.
Right.
But it's so tactical, especially because it's mainly a 2-player game, where at the end of each little mini game that takes 5 minutes, you're making your team better. And there's like 3 factions. There's like the humans, the naturals that are really good at fielding. Then there's the robots that are really good at hitting, and then there's the cyborgs that have like humans with robot arms that are good at pitching. But the thing is, there's always a lot of these cards seem like quote unquote broken, but they have a cost. So you're playing cards at the end of the round, you get a certain amount of money. Sometimes your strategy is to get more money to get better players. But then when you get players, some of them seem sort of broken. But there's always a way to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so every round you got this market, you're building these teams. You buy a robot, and I'm like, great. You bought a robot, there's a cyborg out there. I'm buying a cyborg because it's unlike most deck building, this goes right on top of your pile and they're in your hand next turn. So I know what you've got next turn and I have just nullified it. So what do? You don't buy that card this round, even though it fits your strategy, so you got to pivot and do something else. It's just this back and forth of I know what you've got. And then once you start to go through your team and you're shuffling your decks, now you're like, I know he has that. I just don't know if it's coming up this game or not.
Right.
So, but you're planning for it. You're like, I'm going to try to draw this guy out because he's got the guy that screws over my robot, so I'm going to draw him out with a lesser robot, so he brings out his best guy, and then I'll hit him with the one I want. Unbelievable 2-player tactical card game.
That's so thematic too, because it's almost like you're studying the tape of like your opponents. You know, you're like, what are their strengths and how can we counteract it?
Yeah, I like tricked out my version. I got the old starting lineup figures that were like 8 inches tall.
Yeah.
And one weekend at the family cabin, my dad and I, we painted all the bases, the colors of the runners. Like, it's like red are the fast runners, blue are the medium.
Based off the game.
Yeah. So we like looked at all the stats of like Willie Mays Hayes is fast, so he's red. You know, like, and they're huge on the board. They're obnoxious. I'll try to put a picture up there of these. It's just timeless, and even people that don't like heavy, not that it's a heavy game, but like for mass market, it's a little heavy.
Sure.
Like even my dad doesn't play like a lot of heavy games, but he loves this because it's baseball.
The
And
theming of it.
It's just so good. So yeah, I love it.
So I asked you, like, maybe it was last video or earlier in this one, is this your highest science fiction game? But honestly, this is your highest science fiction game because it's the future, it's robots.
Technically, I guess you're right. I guess you're
you
right.
have a science fiction and a baseball game.
I'm just like, it's baseball.
As your number one, yeah. All right.
I'm really puzzled here.
Really?
Because there's a game I know that you absolutely love, but I thought it was going to be in your top 10, but I'm surprised it hasn't been mentioned yet. So I'm like, really? That's his number one? But I mean, Lost City surprised that kind of me.
Maybe there's a game I forgot. I'm going to feel so bad if I forgot a game
I don't think
that
so. It's got to be this.
Well, you talked about purchasing cards that seem out of balance. This game has that too. It's another deck builder.
Okay, yeah, this is what I thought.
Yeah, but yours is baseball themed.
I'm surprised this is number one. Though.
Mine
Wow.
is fantasy themed, D&D themed,
Yep, that's
actually. It is Tyrants of the
Yeah,
Underdark.
okay.
Yep.
I was just surprised it was this high.
I just keep coming back to
I
this
thought
one.
smartphone was going to be your number one.
Okay, yeah, smartphones 3. I mean, all these games are like my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard to pick an all-time favorite. But Tyrants of the Underdark, I think it edged out smartphone a little bit and Lost Cities as well because it's actually scales perfectly. It's perfect at all player counts. Whereas if there's any weakness with smartphone, it's if like you've got 4 players, then the 5-player map's not as good. If you've got 2 players, the 3-player map's not as good. But Tyrants, the map scales based on player count, so it's perfect at 2 players. It's great at 3. It's great at 4, which is all it goes up to. It just goes up to 4. But it is. It's the ultimate deck builder with a board. I mean, there's been a lot of games ever since like Trains, maybe it might have been the first one.
Yeah, I think it was.
There's Dune Imperium. There's some other ones as well. Quest for El Dorado, which I also really love. But Tyrants of the Underdark is sort of the ultimate deck builder with a board. And like you were talked about, I think a lot of the things that you're passionate about and excited about with Baseball Highlights 2045 are similar things that I love about Tyrants of the Underdark because there is that feeling of like, oh my gosh, they got that great card. What am I going to do when they unleash this thing on me? And there are cards that seem really powerful, but they're also crazy expensive. And are you really going to like focus so much on money that you can get those great cards? Because then you're kind of neglecting the whole area control element on the board as well. Or, there's always a cost, I guess is what I'm saying. There's always a trade-off. I love the balance of just going for cards that have points and all that, but also fighting on the map. And then there's always this sort of, if you play with 3 or 4 players, there's always these uneasy alliances. There's this meta game. There's these like, oh my gosh, he's got this great spot. He's been milking these points for 4 turns in a row. Why haven't you stopped him? Why don't you stop him? All that kind of stuff that also emerges from it. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's criminally underrated, although it has climbed. In fact, I wrote down what did it end up at. Its overall rank on BGG is 163, but
It's really high.
But it took years and years to get there.
It's still not available though, right?
No, they did come. Well, I don't know if the newer versions. They came out with a smaller box version of it.
Yeah.
That threw in the expansion, but it also downgraded like the components. So instead of it having little plastic
So I
miniatures,
remember reading somewhere a
it's
few
got
years ago
cardboard
where they were
bits.
like, oh, due to some
yeah, there was
quaff between some
something
people,
between
there's
Gale
never-
Force 9 and Wizards of
Yeah.
the Coast. Something about
like
that.
they'll never be able to come to an agreement and
Well, they did though. They did come at some point, and I don't remember exactly when it is. I should have researched this because I have the old version. I have the 2016 version. But a few years back, they did come out with the smaller box version that I think you can still get. If you can find either version of it, and you like deck building or area control, just buy it. I mean, I don't care what it costs you. I mean, if you have the budget, do it, please, because if you haven't played this game, and I've seen people who say they love deck builders, they're big hobbyists, you talk to people on Instagram that you don't know and stuff, and I bring it up still, and even though it's in the top 200 in BGG, they're like, oh no, I haven't played that one. It's like this,
I have not played this one.
it's like
Mostly
this,
because it's D&D themed and it's deck building.
it
and I
just
don't-
doesn't appeal to you, yeah. But it's weird because it's like this big hit in a way because it's so highly regarded on BGG, but it's still somehow like this underground, under the radar kind of game that people aren't aware of or
know what's
haven't
really
played.
funny?
Yeah,
You're number 1 and you're number 3.
yeah,
Smartphone in this.
yeah.
You're 2 of your 3 favorite games of all time. I've played one of them once and one of them none. Mr. Jack in New York and Baseball Highlights. You've played baseball like once
One
with me,
time,
and
yeah.
Mr. Jack maybe once or twice with me.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's like this is even though our Venn diagram of games we like does cross over a lot. When it's like sports stuff, I'm not as interested. When it's like deduction, I'm not as interested. And with you, it's like when it's like fantasy themed or it's deck building, you're usually not as interested. And so it's like some of the stuff we're most passionate about, we don't overlap at all.
I know.
Even though there is a lot of crossover. Like we both love Lost Cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyrants is just probably not your thing. Although I think you should play it.
I
think
probably
you should play it.
mechanically would like it.
I think it's just, and by the way, I haven't really played D&D much since the 80s and early 90s. The theme is fine. It's cool. It's fun when you get a big dragon card or whatever. But mechanically, it's just so clean and so smooth and so good. and still feels innovative 10 years later. I mean, some of the deck builder mechanics that it incorporates are really interesting, I feel like. And the cool thing about it that I'll just say, before, and then I'll shut up, is that it comes with these half decks that you mix and match each time, and the expansion has a few as well. And you take two different half decks and you mix them together, and they all have some new kind of mechanic that they bring to it. And so with a handful of these half decks, you can mix and match and have a very different experience.
Like Smash Up.
Every time you play. Yeah, kind of. But with that area control element, that's just so cool. I wish that they were able to continue to expand upon it, make more half decks, make more boards. It could be more maps. It could be endlessly expandable because there's just the core system of it is so good that it's a shame that I don't think they're going to be adding to it. But yeah, that's Tyrants of the Underdark. I love it.
There is our top 100.
I never get tired of it.
We're going to follow this up with a video where we're going to look at our top 100s and kind of compare it to the numbers of the Board Game Geeks top 100. We're going to be looking at a lot of interesting things. You're not going to want to miss that conversation. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it.
Yeah, now that we finished, I'm curious, how much overlap did we actually have?
Yeah, we're gonna go through all those numbers.
Who likes heavier games? Who likes, older games? All that kind of stuff. That would be an interesting analysis.
We're going to do a lot of analysis. I'm an engineer, so I already got half the numbers done.
Was there a game you were expecting that I missed?
No.
Okay.
I was just surprised that Tyrants was number 1. That's all.
Got it.
I knew it was. That's why I thought it was going to be there. Then when I kept getting closer, I'm like, wait a minute.
I love it. I just never get tired of it. I've been playing it for 10 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed.
Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, being the one table to rule them all with Game Toppers, leg kits, dining covers, premium game mats, and more. And for a limited time only, my US and Canadian audience can get 15% off their premium game mats and accessories using the promo code GameBoyGeek15OFF. Also, go to GameToppersLLC.com to check out all the options or for worldwide late pledges of their recent 5.0 Kickstarter.